I can save you years worth of therapy in just 3 minutes. All mental health boils down to having thoughts, beliefs, and actions that are beneficial. That's your key. If it's beneficial, then you should have those beliefs, thoughts, and actions. If it's detrimental, then it will lead to mental illness. Making sure that your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are beneficial is all that's needed in order to make sure you're living in mental health. But detrimental thoughts such as, I'm ugly, I'm not good enough, I can't, I'm not able to, I'm less than other people, I'm not worthy. These are detrimental thoughts or detrimental beliefs about yourself. If you have detrimental ways of thinking, then you perceive everything as a confirmation of that negative bias. See, this is probably happening because I'm ugly. This is probably happening because I'm unlovable. This is probably happening because I'm dumb. And so that way of thinking is detrimental, leads to mental illness. When you have the ways of thinking that are beneficial, I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm capable, I'm lovable, I'm worthy, just like everyone else. Those beneficial ways of thinking, those beneficial beliefs lead to beneficial actions, and you are now in mental health. So how do you get yourself there? Well, your brain, specifically the subconscious mind, is like an AI system. The AI system is programmed through prompts, right? So we program our AI system through prompts because now it understands language. The AI system understands the way that you put something. For instance, if you go to ChatGPT and you type, "Why was my day probably bad?" ChatGPT will suggest reasons why your day was bad. It will give you a bunch of detrimental, negative things and thoughts and suggestions. But if you ask instead your AI a beneficial question like, "Why was my day probably good?" it will give you reasons why it was good, beneficial thoughts, positive thoughts, and so on. So we have to learn to prompt our AI with programs that are going to be beneficial, such as, why am I beautiful? Why am I going to do well? Why is today going to be a great day? I believe in myself. Those positive, beneficial prompts to your AI system will lead you to have beliefs, thoughts, and actions that are successful and healthy. So to do that, you have to stop following the emotions. People who follow the feelings are living in fear, and that fear causes them to do things that are, that's right, detrimental, such as abandon people, abandon relationships, or fear abandonment themselves. Fear is one of those feelings, one of those emotions that people are following. All self-sabotage comes down to following the emotions. So if we're not following the emotions, what are we supposed to be following? Follow the plan, specifically the conscious mind strategy that you make up for yourself that seems to be beneficial, such as, if I believe that I'm smart, it would be to my benefit, because then I'll take the actions that will be to my benefit, such as trying hard, such as putting myself out there, taking risk. If I believe I'm beautiful, if I believe I'm lovable, if I believe I'm capable, if I believe I'm deserving, that's a good strategy. So that's why I choose it. It's not based on what I think might be true. It's not based on my bias. It's not based on feelings or past trauma. Everything I think, everything I believe, and everything I act on is beneficial because I want to make sure that it's to the benefit of my human. My job is to take care of the human that I've been put in charge of. That is your job. So make sure you're prompting your AI with the right language.